Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching another episode of Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Here's my friendly co-host, Stan the Man. He doesn't say very much, but he's got a lot of spirit, and he inspires millions of people like myself to keep doing what I'm doing and enjoy comics. Thank you, Stan, for all that you've ever done. And speaking of all that you've ever done, look what we got here for today's comic. Daredevil, #1. Zdarsky Chichetto Go. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Sorry. This series, this is, I believe this is bi-weekly. So this is like, it's been about 3 months maybe now. Issue 6 just came out. So this is a late review. However, I believe you could probably find back issues of this if you tried. Friend of the channel, as you guys know, Sergeant Bat. Really, guys, come on. Friend of the channel, Sergeant Bats, donated digital copies of Daredevil to me so that I could try it out. And, really? Doing a review here. Thanks. So I could try it out. And I told him, I was like, thanks for donating these. I will read them and for sure review them. And giving him a shout out. Watch his channels. He hasn't been making many videos for the past week. Guess he hasn't been feeling right. I'll let him explain why that is. But if you've watched his channel and you haven't seen videos, he's been kind of laid up. So get better soon, Bats. Anyways, thank you for donating this book, because I don't buy Marvel books except for Life Story, which was also written by Zdarsky, and it's awesome. So what do I think about this Daredevil? I was scared, very scared to read it. But starts off in a bar with a woman sitting in a bar. Nice tramp stamp. No, I don't think so anyway. Oh, she's like, taken? Don't think so. There was a guy, this is his party, fucking up everyone's night. Haven't seen him in a while, though. Maybe he went too hard, too fast. Then you see a mystery person. Scotch, neat. McKellen, if you have it. This place, I'd say, once every 2 weeks, gets a party celebrating a guy either getting out of prison or, like tonight, getting out of going to prison. What happened? Do you know? Yeah, hard not to know with everyone shouting about a guy who broke into some family's house, but the dad came home early and bit a bullet. Went to trial, but wouldn't you know it, one of the witnesses who saw him run from the house suddenly couldn't ID him. Shocking. Would you mind telling me what time it is? The clock's right in front of you, man. What are you? Oh, God, I'm sorry. I didn't. It's okay. Now, this book opens up with a kind of a cliche thing about Matt being blind or whatever. But, first of all, I really like the art in this book. It is extremely fitting for Daredevil. This is a very good opening for the book. Remember, this is a #1 issue, so I'm treating it like here's a jumping on. Everyone kind of knows Daredevil's blind. Even new readers have probably seen the TV show. I love the seediness of this. I love the realism of it. This is something that DC doesn't do and probably shouldn't do because their universe is a different style. Their whole aesthetic is different. But one thing I miss so much about Marvel is this is in the real world. You know, it's one of the things I liked about the Netflix Daredevil show is like, this is what a guy would be like in our world. It's not a fantasy world of like Gotham or Metropolis. This bar feels real. These characters feel real. And that wouldn't feel right in DC. DC is about aspirational heroes. They're sort of like gods to look up to. Marvel characters are more of, they're us. And that's not necessarily good or bad. It's just a different choice. So they're just having some dialogue or whatever. And, what are those pills for? Pain, recovering from an accident. Can I have one? Sorry. That would be illegal. That was a little corny to me, but being he's a lawyer, it kind of makes sense. Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cicchetto, and Sonny, I'm going to say Go. I may be mispronouncing it, but I'm sorry. When Matt Murdock was a kid, he lost his sight in an accident involving radioactive chemicals. Though he could no longer see, the chemicals heightened Murdock's other senses and imbued him with an amazing 360-degree radar sense. Now Matt uses his abilities to fight for his city as Daredevil. Matt's life almost came to an end after a traumatic collision, leaving him clinging to life. Now, after weeks of intense physical therapy, he has returned to Hell's Kitchen. I probably would have changed that to months of intense physical therapy, because that's what happens when you get in a really serious problem. Weeks of physical therapy is like, I broke my leg. But whatever. Again, comics, fine. So, there's a bunch of other not important people. Yeah. So, we get this cool flashback scene of the Catholic Church. And I love the Catholic imagery in Daredevil. The motif. It's so fitting of the character and the aesthetic. Damn it, Matthew. You can't say that here. Dad, I know that. Just listen to me for once. Jack Murdoch's been a while since I've seen you here. Yeah, sorry, Father. Busy with the fights and the job. Speaking of which, I'm going to be late. I met my ropes in with this one, Father. Just picked him up from the flippin' precinct for breaking and entering. I told you, I didn't break. I just entered. Listen to this kid. I swear I'm raising a lawyer. Do your confession and then get home and clean the kitchen and I'll be home by midnight. He watches his dad go, and the father looks down at him. So you didn't do anything wrong, Matthew? No. Then I suppose we can skip your confession. What happened? And he explains and everything that he say, some kid stole his friend's card, blah, blah. He was trying to just help this kid get his cards back. He says, but you were writing an injustice. Exactly. Who cares if I broke the law? God would have wanted me to get those cards back for Davy. Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. What? When Jesus asked if it was lawful to pay taxes to Caesar, that's how he responded. Caesar's face adorned the coins, so they were his. We move through two kingdoms, Matthew. The kingdom of God is paramount. But we have obligations here in the material world as well, rules of order to follow. You're a good boy, Matthew, and you did a good thing for your friend writing an injustice, but man's laws are still man's laws. So you did one thing wrong as far as I can see. I just love this look. It's kind of this knowing look. You got caught. And I was like, damn, this is so appropriate. It's such good character building to help us get in the mind of Matthew Murdock. Because Matthew Murdock is Catholic and he's a believer, and his Catholic father, not his real father, was a big influence on him, and so we see that here. And then we fast forward back to real time, and we see Matt Murdock has had a one-night stand with this woman. I almost died. It's been weeks. Oh, that was nice. And then they have their awkward after talk. To which she explains that, that he's not his type, and anyways, this is not really important to the review, but it is really good flavor to the book, and I'm urging you to read this. And look at this art. Look at this, especially if I pull away. The colors, I love the red and the blue, bright lights in the dark city. It just feels, I'm loving it. Drawing these backgrounds is such underrated to set the scene. And so they got these cops are at the scene. They're investigating what's going on. And, he heard him, and apparently that was enough for him to say Daredevil. Well, that's that. That's a wrap up. Let's back to the station. And the other cop's like, what? Look, my advice, pretend you didn't hear that. Mayor Fisk is gung-ho on catching these heroes, and I'm here to tell you, you won't. Oh, for Ed, I'm not gonna. We're short-staffed. You want eyes on us? Drag this out. Pile up the workload. Go ahead. Write Daredevil as a possible suspect. Nobody catches these guys. You just live with it. And besides, the victim is pistol Pistol Pat O'Bano. The man's nickname is a type of gun. I don't care that the mysteries of his unbroken leg will go unsolved. Did you call for backup? No, I swear. It just must be a patrol. And then this mysterious guy shows up. That's really cool. Like, foot out the door. Walking towards him. Then the camera turns at an angle. Imposing figure. Do we know who did this? No, victim didn't have a visual, so... And she's trying to cover it up, right? She's not saying he didn't say anything, just saying didn't have a visual. I'm sorry, bud. Have we met? Because this is our crime scene, so... Who did this to you? Daredevil. What's your name, officer? And you're just like, oh, shit. So this is being all played in as he's a badass, you know. And his name is Detective Cole North, transferred from Chicago to the 18th. So right there, I already know that this guy's a bad dude because Chicago's full of... It's the most corrupt city in the country, so it's a great place for him to come from. And... But of course, he's supposed to be a badass, and he's kind of showing that he understands how to get things done, and calls this guy out on his bullshit. But realistically, it's an interesting dichotomy, because while this guy is doing a better job of being a cop, this guy is doing a better job of being on the side of like justice, right? Like, he doesn't care, even though Mayor Fisk has instituted a law to get the superheroes. That's not just, right? And so he's not doing his job correctly. But in this case, from the audience standpoint, he kind of is doing his job the way we want. But he's doing his job anyways. You get the point. So we go back and have some more flashbacks. This time we cut to a short time later after Matt Murdock's injuries. He's now blind. And he says, Matthew, Father Cathal, it's good to see you here. And so soon after. Is your father here? No, Dad's working. He's always working. The hospital bills were... He wanted me to come here, so I came. Well, I'm glad you're here, Matthew. I apologize, son. But I have a meeting with another parishioner shortly. If you'd like, Sister Wilma can escort you home. I can get home on my own just fine. I don't need confession. I'm blind now, Father. I can't do anything. And if I can't do anything, I can't sin. He just looks away. You and I both know that isn't true. I can hear it in your voice. Your sin is hating God. You saved a man's life, and God took your sight. Everything you feel right now is normal. When God takes from us, it can be hard to feel what he's given us. The beauty of this world isn't just one of sights. It won't seem like it now, but I believe God is revealing to you a world in other ways. On the road to the man you'll become. You experience the world like you can't even imagine. It's okay to be angry at God. Now, but Matthew, it's understandable. Believe me, God loves you. I read that all shitty. I'm sorry. I feel bad because that was a really emotional scene. And I'm so impressed. I'm reading this and I'm just like, damn, this is postmodern comics. This is Chip Zdarsky, one of the premier figures just like a year ago in SJW Marvel, being a part of the problem, not the solution, and he's now unapologetically writing, Murdoch's Catholic mentor accurately. Like, this book isn't coming off preachy in any way, but it's coming off real. This is a real Catholic priest. I believe these words that he says. Whether or not you yourself believe in God is not important. I believe this guy believes in God. And I believe that in order for this character to believe in God, the things that he believes has to also feel right and real. They can't be all hokey pokey, A bad writer who didn't believe in God, a modern SJW might write, this character sounding all stupid, so that you would then look at this guy and be like, you're just a stupid priest. You're just saying a bunch of lies to trick and connive people. But that's not the case. Zdarsky respects this character and writes him truthfully and honestly. And like I said, you don't have to walk away believing God yourself, but you believe that this guy's a real priest, and it has a real reason why other people listen to him, including our hero, Matt Murdock. And so we go back to present day, and Matt's, just reflecting on recent events and different things, and he's talking about how his life feels like a cage. And then we get to this moment. What does he say? About the the radar sensor. It's all to remind me. And he's thinking, boom, back to Daredevil. And now it's been gone too long. It's in the air. Hell's Kitchen has an itch. I've lived here all my life, and I can feel when the people are ready to scratch that itch. Scratch it by robbing, by fighting, by murdering. Daredevil's been gone, and anything goes. I've been scratching itches, too, since I got back. Foggy wouldn't approve of the woman tonight because of the casualness of it. But Foggy, God bless him, rents a moving van after he sleeps with someone. He wouldn't approve of this either, but people need to know, so I run, in circles across rooftops. I'm not hiding. I want people to catch a glimpse of the devil. 4 people have spotted me tonight, from the streets, from windows. They may not have the itch, but they'll tell the people that they saw me, and they'll tell others. And eventually it reaches someone who has an eye on the cash box, and then they'll think twice. They imagine the devil. And I was just like, damn, this is some Miller-esque Daredevil going on. I love it. No snappy, self-impressed, quippy, sitcom dialogue. This is a hardened man fighting crime in a hardened city. Damn, I'm loving this. Speaking of damn. Not at peak grace yet. Still, feels good to... He looks down. Robbery, 3 blocks away. The devil slipped their minds. And then we see guys robbing, and they're coming out. Oh, shit. The boom of the heart when they see it's me. Oh, I love this. This is a part. So they're like, oh shit, the spike. The boom of the heart when they see that it's me. Focus. I'm not going to lie. I've missed it. Simple break and enter, though it doesn't appear to be much of a break. Possibly an inside click. Enhanced hearing. Could do without the guns in the world. A third perp, so he dodges a gun. I love how Daredevil's always able to dodge gunfire because he can hear when the trigger's being pulled. And then he flings his baton, like he twists and dodges out of the way as he's flinging the baton backwards into the guy's hand, disarming him. Can almost smell his sweat from here. Clearly the guy who got access to the shop, staying away from the cameras. Better wrap this up before cops. And then he takes a swing, and it's like a wild miss. The guy's like, what? And takes advantage of it. Bam! How careless, arrogant. Need to shut this down. Wait, that alcohol smell. Alcohol burning. I need to. 2 low-level crooks, and I'm floundering. Embarrassing. No, 3. I can't even count. Useless. Then he gets hit over the head with a bottle. Then socked in the face, and then they're just beating him on the street, and Daredevil's just fighting back, and it just becomes a chaotic street fight. Daredevil's having to fight for his life, and they're just curb stomping him. And you're just like, damn, this is not modern SJW comics. This is not a Mary Sue type character. This is a guy who earns every ounce of respect that he gets. Sirens 2 blocks away. Need to fight the fire, but I can't. 1 block. Fisk still has the cops under orders to arrest heroes on site. Gotta. Damn it. 10-5-9 in progress. At 10th and 54. Hands where I can see them. I love this shot here. The lights and the cop's face is silhouetted out. Unbelievable. Look at this. Just fire building a blaze. All because of Daredevil, essentially. These guys would have got away free. They would have got a little bit of cash, which probably insured, but now the building's going up in fire. Where? I thought I saw I've fought the Hulk, Ultron, armies of ninjas. And my obituary almost just read Daredevil killed by 3 robbers. Oh, and by the way, it was Matt Murdock, local lawyer and former mayor. I've got to get better. The injuries, the years. How much longer can I do this before it kills me? And he's obviously an older priest. It's Matt's. Here we see, I like Netflix style Matt Murdock in confession, and he's going through and having his words with the priest. And I love this. I love this dichotomy between him and the priest. That's basically Matt Murdock's conscience, and it helps so much. It's like, forgive me for I have sinned. I've used great violence, but for the good to help. My son, this sounds serious. Is it? Didn't Jesus drive the money changers from the temple with a whip? Isn't violence sometimes justified? Can't I be the hands of God? The mind controls the hands, son. And is it truly God controlling yours? Yes, Jesus drove them out of the temple with some degree of violence, but he was the Son of God. You are just a man. And men who succumb to violence, no matter the justification, can grow to crave it. It destroys your spirit. It destroys lives. I can hear it in your voice, Matthew. You're on the precipice. There is a difference between a man who saves someone through the unfortunate use of violence and someone who seeks violence like an addict. And there it is. We already know as a reader. And he's here. Look at that. Oh, that emotion. It's the subtlety of it. It's not in your face. It's respecting you as the reader. Lesser writers would hammer this into your face. Do you get it? Do you get it? But yes, you get to see it yourself. And then there's a pause. Matthew? And he looks, and he's gone. But he hit close to home. Matthew realizes the truth in what the priest is saying. So we get to Wilson Fisk, and they're talking about, he's got a meeting, blah, blah, blah. Cut to the fire with Detective North. Back to Fisk, back to North, back to Fisk. They're talking about, this is epic. Fisk interrupts and stops us to hear the TV, the news broadcast. Firefighters were quick to the scene, stopping the fire from spreading to pick up afterward with the next day's agenda. Wesley, quiet. Surrounding buildings, surveillance cameras captured 3 robbers in an altercation with mass vigilante Daredevil who evaded capture. Police are asking anyone for information on his whereabouts to contact the authorities. 2 of the unidentified robbers have been released from the hospital and are in police custody. The third, Leo Carrero, has died from reported head trauma. Dun, dun, dun. And this is one of the most satisfying Daredevil issues I have ever read since Frank Miller left back in the day. Zdarsky, in my mind, completely gets Daredevil in the same way that Frank Miller did. He completely gets how Wilson Fisk is dangerous and is the prime villain to Daredevil, because Fisk knows how to ruin him. Not doesn't have to beat him physically. And this is just, this grin on this face as he realizes Daredevil killed somebody. And now Fisk has everything he needs. There's no more arguing. And from his point, like, well, he's a vigilante, but he's trying to help people. No, he killed someone. Now he's reading, did he really kill someone? Was he framed? I don't know, but damn. And then, he's kind of beat up. You see the blood on the bed. And this is a perfect first issue. I am utterly impressed. Utterly impressed. I did not read every part of this book, which, I'm sure you're like, thank God, Ash, videos are long enough. But I wanted to read the parts that I did because I wanted you to get a feel of what I was sensing. I could just describe to you how the book was good and did this. but I wanted you to see some of the certain pages that were just really impactful, like the early pages with young Matt, and then later when he's at the confessional as an adult, and it kind of comes full circle to the scenes where he's running around back as Daredevil after this injury, but he's not up to form, and it's so good, so good. Every aspect of this. This is a character who has to earn everything that he gets. And I absolutely love this. If you like street level heroes, this is right up your alley. This is so much better. I mean, I might even hesitate. I might even say this is better than Tomasi's Batman. Like, that's how good it is. But Tomasi's Batman is different. It's not trying to be a gritty, realistic approach. It's trying to be a street level hero, but also be comic booky. And so they're kind of apples and oranges. Definitely, though, better than Tom King's Batman. And you want to talk about a man going through problems and heartaches and difficulties. This is how you do it right. This is how you beat your hero down without making it just pathetic and sad and ruining the character. I don't feel like Matt Murdock is a pussy, right? I don't feel like Matt Murdock is low T or anything like that. I feel like, oh shit, there's a man who's trying, even though he's been broken, he's just still trying his best, and it's hard, he's not sitting there whining and whimpering in his own, patheticness. Speaking of Batman, this made me think the whole time I was reading this. I was like, well, Tom King's leaving Batman, and everyone's like, who's going to replace him? Who's going to replace him? And we've all been thinking about the DC corral. After reading this book, I'm like, this is the guy you get. If I'm DC, if it's possible, I mean, Zdarsky could be under some big exclusive contract, I don't know. But if I'm DC, I pull the stops to get this guy. I'm telling you right now, between this book and Life Story, and people are telling me The Invaders, which I don't really have any interest in, but people are saying The Invaders is fantastic. Those are 3 books that Zdarsky's writing. This guy's one of the top writers. It's clear. He's one of the top writers in the industry. If you got this guy and you have Venditti already, you've got Tomasi, you've got Scott Snyder, this is what you do, DC. This is what you did a couple years ago when you got Rebirth. You got all the top talent. This guy, you pay better rates, so I know you can pull this away. I don't think Marvel necessarily appreciates Zdarsky the way they do, the way they should. And if you offered this guy a Batman book, I bet you could get sales back up to 100,000, and you'd be able to afford to pay the page rates to lure this guy away that you need, which is also important because not only will it sell your books, but you're taking away one of the best players on the opposing team. That's another way to look at it. Marvel only has a couple of big hitters. Zdarsky, Donny Cates, and I don't know, people say Hickman, but I'm not convinced. Yeah, that's what this guy is. Be perfect for Batman. Perfect. It would keep the same tone. With Tomasi being on detective, it would just be a winner. Unfortunately, DC is not showing that they're interested in being winners. They're interested in basically hiring their friends and pushing their friends' ideologies and using it as a club and not as a real business. And I don't know when someone's going to step in and start firing some people and saying that's not how we do things. But until then, thank you for watching. Thank you, Sergeant Bats, for donating the book. I got the other issues I'm looking forward to read. Stan, the man, gives his thumbs up. He is very happy that Daredevil is being treated right. And sorry for the long book. Hopefully this is worth it. Thanks for watching. Time for another JL8 webcomic, number 37 by Yale Stewart. Alfred! Clark and Hal will be spending the night tonight, so we need your help. Can you make these for us by tomorrow? These ones here. Yes, I believe so. Good. I'll get started right away. Hold on. First, can you make us some cookies? I believe he meant please, Mr. Pennyworth.